The following episode contains strong language, violence, themes of imperialism, and child endangerment. Welcome everybody to the extended play, a special Masks and Mayhem event. I am going to be your Gamemaster RC, and I am joined by...
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Dan.
We are going to be using the Avatar Legends role-playing game system to do a one-shot set in that universe, separate from the Mayhemverse continuity. We will be going through all of our, essentially, Session 0 information, followed immediately by a one-shot, and I will have a time down below if you want to just jump right into that one-shot. Creating characters and creating campaigns are kind of intertwined in this system. So some of this we did talk about before, so, this is, pulling back the curtain. For the unfamiliar, Avatar the Last Airbender was a wonderful, amazing cartoon on Nickelodeon, followed by The Legend of Korra. It also had a series of comic books.
There is no live-action Avatar movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There is no war passing say.
It's had some not-so-great live-action adaptations. In the world of Avatar, people can control the four main elements, which are air, water, earth, and fire. The Avatar is a spiritual sort of leader who can control all of the elements, and is when one dies, a new one is born. That being said, we're going to just kind of jump right in. Of the eras that are available to choose in this game, there is the Kyoshi era, the Roku era, the 100 Years' War era of around the original TV show, the Aang era taking place after the original show, and the Korra era taking place shortly after the events of The Legend of Korra, the sequel series. Which one are we going with, folks?
The 100-Year War.
Oh my gosh, we're in our 100-Year War era.
Shut the this whole entire game was set up for you to pick that fucking stupid joke.
We all agreed that the era everyone knows best, and also, the era that made us fall in love with this show, so it would be more fun.
The next part of building a campaign is to choose a scope. Are we thinking kind of a broad scope or a narrow scope?
I'm thinking 360 no scope.
I'm leaning towards a narrow scope primarily because this is going to be a one-shot, and we don't know if we're really going to return to this.
Yeah, I think it worked best for a one-shot.
Yeah, we're not going to be traveling across the entire world. It's probably going to be limited to one main location. So, we want to choose a group focus. A focus is basically kind of the goal of your group, one of the things that kind of unites them together. So options are to defeat something, to protect something, to change something, deliver something, rescue something, or learn something.
Change something.
Oh, okay. So the options are a culture, a society, a place, or a person.
A culture.
I feel like we might want to stick to place or person for a narrow scope for a one-shot.
So, the Fire Nation, yes, bad. But to me, in my opinion, more insidious are the small little villages that they would go to where might not even be Fire Nation people, but still supporters of the cause. So just like a little neighborhood town of Fire Nation sympathizers or supporters.
I feel like that would lean more towards place.
The question that, of course, stems from that is, if we're not really in a broad setting where we're going to be traveling a bunch, this is most likely going to be set in kind of a single town. And I was thinking that unless we're kind of going to be setting it in the Fire Nation, I don't know if necessarily that as a group goal would work.
So maybe, again, we're saying more just change of village, that people are just we're fine with this.
Indifference.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of a border Earth Kingdom area, one of the areas that's colonized by the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
And they're kind of rather indifferent to what's going on.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. So this leads into outlining what's called the inciting incident. Essentially, this would be the adventure that takes place before the adventure we're on to kind of set up how this group knows each other and their history together.
Mm-hmm.
Options for Act 1 of this inciting adventure. We befriended an ally that gave us access to a valuable item. We discovered a secret hidden by a powerful figure. We did something fun but drew the ire of powerful figure in the process. Or we learned the frightening plans of powerful foe.
The secret.
Okay, so we've discovered a secret hidden by powerful figure?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna get him.
Alright, Act 2 options are we stole a valuable item from powerful foe. We discovered a terrible truth about location or powerful figure. We defended ally or place from powerful foe. Or we destroyed valuable item and drew the ire of its owner, powerful foe.
The first one.
We stole valuable item from powerful foe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking since this is set in the Earth Kingdom, powerful foe to me, my first thought is some kind of local, minister, not religious minister, but government official. Sound good to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the valuable item you stole from them? And kind of why, I guess is a good point too. Actually, sorry, the first part is you discovered a secret hidden by them. So what's the secret?
Maybe stealing resources might work better in this setting.
Maybe they're profiteering from the war?
Oh, yeah. They take collections they claim it's something else, but they're actually using it to help fund the Fire Nation. To be like, leave our little town alone.
So they are giving it to the Fire Nation as like protection money, or that's just what the town is being told?
Yeah, no, the town's being told something different, but they are giving it to the Fire Nation. So like the townspeople think, oh, we're donating this money and we're gonna get a new courtyard or playground for the kids. And there's always something that happens to where it doesn't get built because all the funds are being funneled to the Fire Nation to like leave us alone.
Oh, see, I was thinking he was just pocketing the money.
I was just thinking like corrupt. Well, I mean, guess like pocketing the money is corruption, but like I was thinking like a more grand corruption.
But that's just the general concept is that this person's gathering money on behalf of the village ostensibly, and then it's going to the Fire Nation.
And the thing we stole was like his ledger book.
Ooh, that's good.
That shows that like none of the money was used.
All right. Well, then Act 3, we fought and barely defeated powerful foe. We narrowly escaped capture by powerful foe. We saved or rescued ally from powerful foe, or we were saved from powerful foe by ally to their own detriment.
Narrowly escaped capture.
Yeah, I would say that one works for me. I feel like adding an ally to this mix when we're already doing like a really quick one shot seems like too much.
All right. So I'm going with the name I've come up with is Minister Fubai. So the next part is that you would choose a playbook, and we're not going to go through all the playbooks because you guys already chose yours. Dan, what is the name of your playbook that you're going with?
I am the idealist.
All right, so playbooks essentially act in a lot of ways as like classes in this game, and they also kind of set you up with specific narrative functions. I'm just going to read the one for the idealist. The idealist has a past full of suffering and tragedy that strengthen their beliefs. Play the idealist if you want to awaken hope in everyone around you. And I think that's really good for kind of the concept of inspiring hope during this occupation functionally. And then Rachel, which playbook did you go with?
I went with the Guardian.
The Guardian defends someone close to them, steadfast and watchful. Play the Guardian if you want to be the first to see danger coming in the last line of defense. And so you also had already picked out character names. What are your names?
My character's name is Mika.
My name is Yong.
And you also already kind of picked what your training is, which in this game your options are the 4 elements, air, water, fire, earth.
Although I guess if we're doing a 100-year war, it can't be air, right?
It can't be air, yeah. I was going to touch on that.
The show is called Avatar the Last Airbender.
The other 2 options outside of those would be weapons or technology. So you guys had already kind of picked out yours. What are you going with?
Well, I figured it would be cheap if I went waterbender again, even though the waterbenders are my favorite and that's what inspired Yardak. This time I am going to be an earthbender.
All right. And Rachel?
I'm stealing Dan's favorite thing of being a waterbender.
Let's see what she does with it.
Have you already decided stuff for my ward character, or do it?
So I'm thinking for your ward as the Guardian, Rachel, I think Mika would follow, like, I'm thinking like a cousin.
Yeah, a cousin works. I want like a younger family member, so.
Okay. And I'm thinking Yuka.
What are Yuko's pronouns?
Kind of up to you. Is Mika a girl or a boy or?
Mika's gonna be a girl.
I think you kind of described your character when we talked about it as being somewhere like 16.
Yeah, I was thinking, because I knew I had chosen Guardian, I was like, well, she has to be a little older.
I'm thinking Yuka can be like maybe 12. Dan, what about Yong?
I feel like he'd be, I don't know, like 15 or 16.
Okay.
I'm an adult, but like he's not an adult yet.
I think we're both a little bit like, I'm an adult, but we're not actually adults. I'm caring for a child, though, so there's a reason
Yeah.
Let's go with 15. Not that it's going to make a huge difference, but I'm imagining like that's old enough that you have experienced these hardships that have forged you into the idealist, while still leaving the Guardian as kind of like the eldest of the group. So yeah, you're a trio kind of just going around together.
Do we know, do we want the 12-year-old to be doing it, like any special skills?
Yeah, well, so the characters that are with you are also going to be, members of the party, essentially. I would say that maybe Yuka's just, like a weapons person. Maybe like a, I don't know, spear?
Well, I mean, water type, I could have a boomerang like Sokka.
Yeah, and I was thinking maybe he accidentally hurt someone in the water, like he hurt someone, not someone in the water tribe, like Fire Nation person came, and that's why they're like, nope, the kid hurt someone and I'm gonna take him somewhere away from this so we don't get caught.
Okay, yeah. So you've been traveling with Yuka. And I think just to add to that, maybe in this village you haven't been there super long, but you're like well liked. So like that's why Fubai hasn't just gone in and like
Murdered us?
Murdered us?
Well, no, I was gonna say like arrested you.
Yeah.
Like you're able to be in public, you're not in hiding. Next step is your background as characters. There are 6 options. Your background can be military, outlaw, urban, monastic, privileged, or wilderness.
I put urban to like go along with like I steal because like I have to because like I live in like a really shitty section of town. Our family didn't have a lot of opportunities.
So are you you're from the village this takes place in?
Yes.
No, like my character's been traveling for a while and now has been here for a while.
Okay.
So like I was thinking my background would be outlaw and we were outlaws from whatever thing the kid did. Threw a boomerang and they got real mad about it.
Yeah, threw a boomerang at a Fire Nation general.
Yeah.
All right, next is your demeanor. Each of you have 6 options of your own. In the upper left of your character sheet, you have a couple options. If you would each maybe read yours and then tell me which one you go with.
Lonely, compassionate, joyful, grieving, earnest, and resolute.
Okay.
And I put compassionate because, like, I mean, that doesn't mean I'm nice. It just means I have compassion for people, which are the people that are in my town.
Okay. And Mika?
My options are harsh, serious, polite, quiet. Maybe I'll go cautious. I'm thinking I'm cautious because the cousin's not.
And then the next is your hometown. Where would your hometown be, do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was like the very outskirts of like the Water Tribe. That's why I got so far.
It sounds like you're going for Southern Water Tribe. So, and I think this is an opportunity then to kind of name the location that we're at, because Dan, your hometown presumably is where we are. How about looking at, there is Yu Dao, which is the oldest Fire Nation colony.
In the Earth Kingdom?
In the Earth Kingdom, yeah.
Okay, you know.
Well, I mean, it's a colony, so the Fire Nation controls it. Next, let's kind of describe what your character looks like.
For some reason, I think he's missing a tooth. And he's, kind of dirty, not because, like, Earth Kingdom dirt, but, like, because, like, I live in, like, a really shitty section of this area. It's, like, fucking overrun with the Fire Nation, and I don't have anything. I have to steal things, basically, to survive.
Okay, but, like, how tall are you? What color's your hair?
5'3", dark brown hair. We'll say green eyes.
Green eyes. And what about you, Mika?
So I think I wear pretty unassuming clothes and just like keep brown hair back in like a low bun. Just trying to blend in.
And next, each of you have history questions.
What tragedy befell you at a young age? My father was killed by Fire Nation thugs for attempting to put up any sort of resistance against their ruling in this town. And then the next one, who do you hold responsible for the ship? Well, obviously the Fire Nation. So now that's like my sole goal in life is to just do what I can to obliterate the Fire Nation.
Or at least undermine them. Like,
kind of annoying, but like, I'm like, my heart's in the right place. Who helped you through your grief? You know, fucking Mika did. And that's why we're thick as thieves, because she had just came to town when my dad died. And, that was kind of our bonding thing, because that's like, she left because they kind of kicked her out, and then I didn't have anybody because they killed him.
Okay.
I mean, my mom, but like, she's now a single mom, so she can't really help me grieve. What symbol, heirloom, or mark do you carry to remind you of what you lost? One of those, coins with a hole in the middle of it on a piece of rope, and I wear it as a bracelet. It was my dad's.
All right.
And then, why are you committed to this group or purpose? Because fuck the Fire Nation. They killed my daddy.
All right, Rachel, your questions?
What pushed you to assume responsibility for the people you care about? The Fire Nation decided to get real murderous on my cousin when he just threw a boomerang at them when he was a child. I'm assuming I've been here like a couple years, so like he was a small child when this originally happened.
Yeah, very small at the time. He's gotten way better at boomeranging.
Yeah. Who have you protected for so long, but maybe doesn't need you anymore? My cousin Yuka, he's getting older, and I still feel like I have to protect him. But he's getting to be the age that people are child soldiers in this world, so.
All right.
Who used to be in your circle of trust before they betrayed you? I'm thinking maybe I had a friend who ratted out the cousin. What heathered, garment, or dormant reminds you of those you protect or failed to protect? I'm thinking maybe, like, our shared grandmother gave me a neck cousin out of there.
Also, we didn't mention this, but you kind of mentioned you wore simple clothes. I'm now thinking you're probably wearing Earth Nation clothes, too.
I think, yeah, I probably am wearing Earth Nation clothes, and I probably have a a water tribe necklace tucked under it. Why are you committed to this group? Or Yong, being the first person I met here, was maybe the first person that also helped me protect, my cousin. Just, like, the only person who's ever, like, come through, since I've left my family.
All right. And then each of you are going to have, below that same section, we'll have connection questions about how you kind of tie into each other or into the group. So if you want to just read yours and pick your person.
Okay, I have two different answers because there's two of them. I recognize some of the pain I have felt inside of Mika. I'm going to try to help them. And then the next one is the Fire Nation frustrates me so much when they act without thinking about the consequences. Or actually, no, that's a lie. The Minister of State frustrates me so much when they act without thinking about the consequences. That's a specific person.
Sorry, connections have to be other members of the party, basically. So.
Oh, well then, yeah, that would be Yuka then, because they're young and they act without thinking. Hence the boomeranging.
My connections, I'm gonna say, Yuka is my ward. They need me to have their back, end of story. And then I would say, Yong, it looks like the more capable without my help. I'm glad some of us can take care of ourselves.
All right. So if you each go back up to your first page, you each have a section in blue that's kind of specific to your character.
Okay. So mine is never turn my back. And it says, you've seen sadness and grief. You are no stranger to loss and pain, but you know the world can be a better place and nothing happens without good people fighting for what's right. And then it says, you have a code, choose 3 ideals from the list to define it. And the ones I picked were always speak the truth, always stand up to bullies, and always keep your promises. And it says, when you live up to your ideals at a significant cost, someone who witnessed or hears about your sacrifice approaches you to affirm their allegiance to your group's purpose. Write down their name on the list of allies below.
Okay, so you might make allies throughout this.
Cause like on the other side, it was like never strike the first blow. And I'm like, nah, a bitch will start a fight.
All right. And then, Mika, tell me about yours.
Protector's burden. You take it upon yourself to protect the people around you in general, but you have someone in particular you keep safe. That would be Yuka.
Mm-hmm.
When they mark a condition in front of you, mark fatigue or a condition, your ward can always call on you to live up to your principle without shifting their balance away from center, and they take +1 to do it. At the beginning of each session, take +1 roll for each yes. Do you believe your ward listens to you more often than not? And then have you recently protected them or helped them with a problem? Is there immediate threat to your ward that you're aware of? And then do you want me to what the thing means?
Yep, this is gonna be our first roll, so this game uses 2 D6s as it's part of the Powered by the Apocalypse system.
I have 1, so I'll roll this twice. Okay, so I rolled a 4 for the first one, and a 5, so me 9. Plus the 1, so that'd be 10.
Alright, so on a 10 plus, you get to hold 2, and at any time you can spend your hold to either take a +10 without rolling on any move, to defend or protect your ward, track them down even if they are hidden or avoiding you, or figure out what they're up to without them knowing. I sent you earlier the sheet that kind of gives everyone your basic moves, and then next, on your sheet, I believe it's going to have, for both of you, a moves on the first page, and you're going to pick 2 of those, so tell me which ones you're choosing.
I think I want to have It Doesn't Belong to You, which says, when you secretly pocket something owned by someone undeserving, roll with harmony. On a hit, you swipe something from them, your choice, without them noticing you took it. On a 7 to 9, the thing you took isn't exactly what you thought it was. The GM will tell you how. On a miss, you grab the goods, but they notice and pursue as soon as you exit the scene. And then for the second one, I think I want to do whatever I can. I'm talking to the locals about their problems, roll with harmony. On a hit, you hear about the most significant and serious problem at hand. The GM will tell you who it affects and what is the cause. On a 10 plus, you can ask a follow-up question about the problem or cause. You take +1 ongoing when you act on the answer. On a miss, you wind up creating a whole new problem with your questions and ideas.
I'm looking between, I think I'm going to take for a brow to get +1 on my focus. And I'm looking at suspicious mind or badge of authority. When you watch a person carefully to figure them out, roll with focus. On 7 to 9, hold 1. On +10, hold 2. Spend your hold 1 for 1 to ask the player questions while you observe or interact them, and they must answer you honestly. Are you telling the truth? What are you truly feeling? What do you really want right now? What are you worried about? Or what are you about to do? Basically, I go substitute teacher on the mass.
The last two sections for our character creation are going to be your stats. So if you go up to your stats on that first page, you'll see each of them has a smaller number to the right of the name. That's what your character type starts at.
And since I have +1 to focus and I took that other move, I'd have 2, right?
Correct. And then as part of your stat process, you have 1 point that you can attribute to one of those.
I'm going to put it in creativity because I start with a -1.
Once you've chosen yours, go through what your totals are for all of them.
Okay, so mine after that would be 0 creativity, 2 to focus, 0 to harmony, and 1 to passion.
All right. And what about you, Dan?
Mine is 0 in creativity, -1 in focus, +2 in harmony, and a +1 in passion.
All right. So you took yours in harmony.
Because both of mine are affected by harmony rules.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, one of my moves I chose to just make the focus better, so I could get better on the other one. I just didn't want to have a -1 one.
Up at the top, this is not something the game dictates. This is something you describe. There is a fighting style option.
I'd say like all out, no defense. Like I'm angry.
I try to be efficient.
All right. For fighting techniques, each start with 1. Dan has disorient and Mika has divert. Your abilities are kind of divided into 3 options. There is defend and maneuver, advance and attack, or evade and observe. So as part of a one-shot, you get access to a single, what is called a mastered technique. I'm going to have you each choose what you prefer, an advance and attack, an evade and maneuver, or a evade and observe.
I think I'll take advance and attack.
All right, so for waterbending, advance and attack, let me just see what your options are. Okay, so I'm going to knock out the bloodbending options.
Fuck.
Because 2 of the 5 are that. Options: crushing grip of the seas. Throw a tendril of water that wraps around or flows limbs and hold them in place. Mark 1 fatigue and inflict impaired on a foe. Mark an additional 2 fatigue to inflict trapped on that foe with a second tendril. If the foe is already impaired, you may need to pay 2 fatigue for trapped. Ice prison. Aggressively wrap a foe in ice. Mark 2 fatigue to inflict trapped on a foe, standing in water or on ice. Or stream the water. Push a high-powered stream of water from a significant source. Mark fatigue to inflict a condition on a foe within reach of the water source. They are pinned against something, cannot shift positions or engage foes other than you until they break the stream or you drop it. Mark 1 fatigue at the end of each exchange to continue the stream.
Can I assume I have some water with me?
Yeah, I've been operating under that assumption.
I think I'll just do that last one with the pressure.
So you want to mark that off, on your sheet. The name is Stream the Water.
I'm going to do another advance and attack, because that's my thing.
All right. So we've got Earth Gauntlet. Wrap your arm or fist in rock and strike. Mark 1 fatigue, but inflict 1 condition or 2 fatigue on your enemy. You can also knock your foe out of reach and disengage. They must mark an additional fatigue to resist. Earth Sinking. Sink a foe into the earth itself. Mark 2 fatigue to trap an enemy standing on ground into the earth. They become trapped. Or Rock Column. Pin a foe with a column of earth. Inflict impaired on a single combatant if they are already impaired. Inflict trapped if they are already trapped. Inflict doomed.
Earth Sinking.
So you'll mark that as an advanced attack and as a mastered. Guys, that's character creation and...
I like that I didn't have to actually deal with stats.
So we set the scene as we fade in on a morning in the Fire Nation colony within the Earth Kingdom of Yu Dao. What are the 3 of you doing this morning?
I am currently running down an alleyway because I just stole a chicken from a market. You know what? Fuck it. Live chicken. Live chicken from the market.
All right, so we know now that Yong is running down full tilt down the street away from, I don't know, some guards, or is it I guess the merchant probably is who's chasing you.
Yeah, it's like the cabbage guy, but aggressive and not cabbage.
The chicken merchant who is just absolutely ripped.
My chickens!
Yeah, my chicken. You don't know why you chose to steal from him, but you were really needing protein this morning, I guess. What is Mika up to, or is Mika in this?
I think I'm distracting the vendor.
Tell me how you're distracting the vendor then.
Tag team chicken thieves.
Yeah! I'm asking him about the price of his eggs.
Yeah, but he is full tilt running past you already. Like, he is flexing his muscles and growling at Yong. Just get back here with my chicken.
So I guess I was probably distracting him, and I guess it didn't work. I want to try and trip him. And I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to, like, accidentally get in his way physically, or, like, try to sneakily waterbend.
You reach forward and you kind of, let's just say, like, you maybe, like, just get some water on the ground to kind of trip him up a little bit. And then suddenly out of nowhere, a boomerang just knocks him off his feet, flat onto his back, and he slides all the way into, like, a hay bale.
Into a cabbage cart.
My cabbages!
Yeah! If I see the boomerang, I'm going to, like, grab the boomerang and just try to leave.
Oh, like, as you're running, you grab it out of the ground?
Yeah, so, Yong, you went around the corner when he slipped and slid into this hay bale. And Mika, you went and grabbed the boomerang, and maybe you even just kind of collected Yuka and put him on your shoulders. And where do you guys, like, live? What's like, your living situation right now?
I feel like we live under a bridge or something.
I feel like it's one of those, like, apartment buildings. Oh, do you know what I do? Instead of jumping, put my feet on the ground, and I go, zoop, and then I make the ground go up, and I just bring it.
Meanwhile, Mika and Yuka have to, like, walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
All right, and you're kind of enjoying a nice breakfast. You get this chicken to plop out a couple eggs.
Yeah, that's how laying eggs works.
Yeah. And
chickens lay one egg.
It's a special chicken. It's actually whatever chickens they have, because I'm sure they don't have regular chickens in the Avatar universe. They got some kind of other chicken.
Oh yeah, it's always something like combined with something else. Chicken turtle. Turtles lay a lot of eggs.
I love both Dan and I being like, that's not how chickens work.
Well, yeah, you're gonna like it less in a moment because something happens off screen and now you're having eggs and fried chicken.
So don't name the chicken.
And you're eating a nice meal, and Yuka has finished eating, and he's laying on the ground with his feet up on the wall, like in just a perfect 90-degree angle, and he's just like tapping his head on the boomerang going, I'm bored.
Bored is better than caught. You gotta be careful.
We just don't go back to the market. We go somewhere else. It's a big city.
Is it?
It was described as the oldest Fire Nation colony in the 100-Year War, so it's been...
I mean, it's been there, so it's established.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it's not a big... Fine. It's a big town.
There's so many places we can't go back to.
Yes, you can never walk through the same river twice.
I meant literally.
I like this idea that maybe Yuka is like a mini philosopher.
It's just like gonna drop some Sun Tzu, like just like in the middle of conversation.
We have to be more careful.
Yong stole a chicken.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
To help my friends.
We could have bought a chicken.
They're expensive.
We could have bought some eggs.
Yeah, but money's tight.
Do we have any?
I mean, not really. We're stealing for food.
Yeah, I was like, Yuka kind of like averts eye contact.
The little fucker's been squirreling money away.
You want some candy or something?
All right, and then not too long after that, you hear a bit of a commotion going on outside. Sounds like some people yelling at each other, and
A peek.
We do the where like all you bloop bloop bloop, and like all three of our heads like pop out of the window to look.
That was a perfect sound, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all pop your heads out, and what you see is some Fire Nation guards kind of just like making their way through like a patrol, and they're kind of harassing this older looking gentleman, you know, telling him to get back inside, and he's raising his cane up, and he's kind of yelling back at him, and it looks like it's about to get feisty.
Can I try and just release the chicken to try and distract them if the chicken's going crazy?
We've already eaten the chicken.
RC made a joke about fried chicken. I didn't agree that we were eating fried chicken.
It is your stolen turtle chicken, and you release the turtle chicken, and it's kind of slowly...
Well, I was just gonna kind of throw it out, so it would kind of be a little like, ah!
Yeah, it draws their attention away from the old man, and they're kind of like looking around like, where the hell did this chicken come from?
And we all ducked out right after we threw the chicken.
And then as they're like looking all around, I want to pop my head back out and say, leave him alone! Don't you have something better to do?
And you hear a bunch of other crowd members going, yeah, leave him alone. And I'd say like the oldest looking of the group kind of comes out and goes, attention citizens. This area is going to be under military jurisdiction soon. We will ask you to vacate the premises post-haste.
We already have nowhere to live. Now you want us to leave here?
And at this point, you're saying this out the window, so he looks up at you and makes eye contact.
I pull him down.
No, I'm a feisty little fucker.
I try to pull him down.
Yeah, you see, you're struggling against, I guess. This was not a negotiation.
Who said I was negotiating?
When we return at dawn, it will be in your best interests not to be in this area.
Well, then you better sleep in.
This comes by order of Minister Fubai, who you would know as your enemy, who you know has been cooking the books to take community money and feed it to the Fire Nation.
I keep thinking of feisty things to say, and it does not make sense for my character to say it.
And also, you said that he better sleep in, and Yuka jumps up and goes, yeah, what he said!
I successfully pull him down.
You absolutely are successful pulling down this tiny child.
So then, as those little fuckers walk away, I want to turn to Mika and say, that's it, tonight's the night. We're stealing the ledger tonight.
Oh, we have the ledger.
Oh, we did? I thought that...
That was the backstory.
Okay.
Maybe we need to get the ledger to someone?
I'll say, it's never been established, it's just established that you narrowly escaped. I mean, we could describe whether or not, maybe he got the ledger back. That was not established. That's up to y'all.
No, we still got this shit. We have to, I guess, come up with somebody that we would be giving it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Minister Fubai we'll say that he's specifically the housing minister of Yudao. So, there's different, kind of a council, we'll say, of different ministers who...
Do they have, a mayor?
I wouldn't say a mayor, but there's just different people with different positions on, a council together.
Is there one we know we can trust?
No one that you have ever encountered.
They all suck. Okay.
No, I'll say no, sorry, not that they all suck. You've never encountered any of them. You don't know any of them.
Okay, so then I want to take it to his boss, and I want it to be one of those moments where the boss thought he was doing great and that the citizens were happy, but then coming to find out that his...
Okay, so he wouldn't have a direct boss, but I think the same concept would apply if you want to get it to one of the other members of the council.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the way I'm seeing it, council would be the top brass in this area. Anything else, you'd have to
Does he have a political rival?
Ooh, I love this idea. All right.
Even if we don't like this other dude, any of our enemies or friend?
Huh?
All right. Minister Ming. Let's say that he handles, everyone loves it when this goes right. Waste distribution.
Waste distribution.
When you do that job wrong, people sure care.
Yeah.
They don't notice when it's done well, but as soon as it's done wrong,
yep.
People genuinely give a shit because they're covered in shit if it's done wrong.
Yeah, Minister Ming is very well liked by the community. He's a bit of an ambitious fellow. He definitely wants the housing position because that has a bit more
prestige.
Prestige, thank you. Yes, I'll say he wants the housing position because that has a bit more prestige to it. You've never met Minister Ming, but everyone kind of talks about him.
He doesn't want the shitty position anymore.
Hey.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe we bring it to Ming. I don't know if he's trustworthy, but I think he wants this job enough that he'll do something with this.
Oh yeah, as you said earlier, enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well then, let's see. I didn't mean we needed to make a big show. I just wanted to go out of the house for a little bit.
Oh no, you wanted to go out. We're going out.
Be careful what you wish for. There's another one of your philosophy quotes to throw in your book.
We don't need to stare into the abyss too much.
And I want to grab him and bring him real close, and I want to say, the abyss is gazing into you. And then drop him and walk out.
Yuka looks over at you, Mika, and says, Yong did not brush his teeth this morning.
Does he ever?
You were saying that kind of your plan is that you want to get the ledger to Ming.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you've never met Ming. His office is kind of on the other side of town.
And I imagine that it's in a place where there's a lot of Fire Nation people.
Yes, absolutely. The further into town you go, you were kind of on the outskirts today, where you're living, the more Fire Nation patrols there are, the more bureaucracy exists.
I'm going to turn to both of these boys and be like, we need to play this carefully and cautiously, and I stare at both of them.
Yuka kind of looks over at Yong and goes, I don't know if this outfit is going to be the most inconspicuous.
Let me go get my nice rags.
Maybe we could see if anybody could maybe trade or loan.
Go grab the chicken.
And you see the chicken, it feels like it's escaped. It's gotten across the road.
And what I want to do is, as the chicken's over there, I want to take the earth and shoot the chicken back up and grab it.
This poor fucking chicken.
And you see, like, everyone in the area right now kind of panicking.
I'm going to take it to the elderly lady that lives next door because, I mean, obviously she's on hard times too. And I want to help her and give her this chicken and see if I could borrow some clothes from her late husband.
My wife's going to ask, when are you going to borrow clothes from her dead husband? And yep, that's exactly what you're doing.
When you zig, I'm going to zag.
Oh, thank you, Yong. That is very thoughtful. You said you needed clothes?
If I could just borrow them for just a little while, a job interview. I want to look snazzy.
Oh, I see. Yes. You're welcome to have any of them. Or to borrow any of them, I mean. My husband didn't have the latest fashions. May the spirits be with him. Your neighbor, Pushi, you've lived here for a little while now, and she's... I don't know if I'd say she's fond of you specifically. Like, she likes you, grateful for these kind of impromptu things that you bring her that kind of help make things easier. Fuck it, she's fond of you.
Her grandkids never come visit. We're the only people who come by.
You never knew her husband. He passed away before you moved here. And she kind of like just waves you towards an old storage chest, and everything's a little bit kind of dusty, a little wrinkly, but it's all in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly her husband very much was a prim and proper gentleman. So you grab some clothes from there, you dust yourself off, and you look in the mirror, and you're like, oh my gosh, I look like a fancy man about town.
Fancy man.
I would say it's also, these clothes are also just a little too big on you. Just like not much.
I gotta roll up the cuffs.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh, wow, you can actually clean up.
Wow!
So yeah, you grab these clothes. What are you doing next? Where are you heading? So you're kind of, like I said, on the outskirts of town. Like if we imagine this being mostly like an oval, you're like on one of the edges right now.
I'm imagining, is his office in the center of the oval?
Yeah, there's like some larger buildings. Like for the most part, it's 1 or 2 story houses and apartments throughout the city, and there's the occasional, like there's factories and shops and things, a couple markets.
Do we know anything about the building he would be in, or do we just kind of need to go out there and suss out how to get in?
You're going to probably have to ask around. Like, you know that he doesn't get out. Like, the ministers don't really get out to those outskirts that often.
Let's head out to the center of town.
Let's kick rocks.
The farther in you go, like, you see people that are more well off for the most part. People seem a little happier. The clothing is a little nicer. People are looking, like, more well-fed. But you're also starting to see more of those Fire Nation patrols. You're seeing Fire Nation banners and people over people's houses and things. Group of people kind of gathered around, and they all seem to be forming a circle around what looks to be Fire Nation soldier and another young kid who's kind of fighting back.
Ooh, I want to run up to the circle and then put my hand on somebody's shoulder and be like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And can I roll? Because that's one of my things for whatever I can. Because I want to like help the kid. I want to know what's going on.
Oh, okay. What is this, your special thing?
Yeah, it's the moves. It's when you spend time talking to the locals about their problems, roll with harmony.
Okay, yeah, roll with harmony.
So I have a +2. 3, 4, and 2. 9.
That's a pretty clean hit. So you didn't get the 10+, so you don't get the follow-up question. So yeah, this kid, he started yelling about how the Fire Nation is making us all complacent. Well, yeah, the soldiers weren't having none of that, and they tried to just brush him away, but it looks like he's fighting back. And you see this kid he's about somewhere in between Yuka and Yong's age.
Mm-hmm.
But he's scrappy. It looks like he's got like his hands tied up with like fighting tape, and he's kind of dodging around. He doesn't control it very well, but he's got some earth bending, and he kind of like, every time the guy starts winding up some fire to throw at him, he kind of hits him in the back of the legs with some earth to throw him off his balance.
Yeah, I like him.
And the Fire Nation guy gets off a couple shots of flame jets. The kid, like, baseball slides under it, and the crowd disperses for a moment for the fire to go through.
And I'm just sitting there like, oh god, oh god, oh god, we need to get there. And these two...
And you see also, like, there's other Fire Nation soldiers that are kind of starting to push the crowd back, like, trying to make the circle bigger.
And I'm like, I'm not sure we can get involved. We need to get there. And if we get arrested by a Fire Nation soldier...
Who's holding the ledger?
I feel like Mika's more responsible.
I have the ledger.
Like in a backpack, I'm imagining something like that.
Yeah, no, I have a crossbody bag, so
okay.
Because those are harder to pickpocket out of than a backpack.
Okay. What I mostly just meant was that, like, it's not something you're physically holding, it's on.
And I'm holding it the way, like, you're holding a purse through a city. You're like, nope, you're not taking this fucker off me.
Okay.
I'm panicking that these two hooligans are going to get involved, and I don't want to get, like, I want to help this kid, but I don't think, my character is cautious, and I'm trying to play into that. And I'm like, I don't know that we can get involved right now, because we have a mission we need to, like, make sure it gets done.
So right now, in terms of the balance mechanic of the game, you're both starting out at 0, like you're both centered. Yuka looks over at you, Mika, and says, if the Fire Nation is doing this and we're trying to get people to resist, you can't just stand by when something like this is happening. This kid's fighting.
You're not wrong, but we also, we need to save all our neighbors too.
In that case, we're going to roll what's called a balance move, specifically denying a call out. When you deny an NPC calling you to live up to your principle, roll with that principle. So in this case, you don't have anything to roll from, but I'm going to have you just roll a straight roll.
Okay. I rolled a 1.
Oof.
And then 3.
On a miss, you stand strong, clear a condition, clear 1 fatigue, or shift your balance, your choice. You don't have any conditions and you don't have any fatigues, so you would shift. I would say you're probably going to shift away from trust and towards self-reliance then. I feel like this is working in the vein of trust. This is working more towards we have to focus on what we're doing.
Yeah.
So you're now going to be shifted 1 towards self-reliance. So in the future, if you have to roll for self-reliance, you get a +1, but if you had to roll for trust, you would get a -1. You are off balance.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it does say if on character creation you can shift your balance. For the purposes of this,
We didn't.
And then, so it sounds like you are going to move on. So being your ward, I think Yuka is prepared to follow you, Mika.
Like, I'm wanting to move on, but I also am, like, keeping an eye on what Yong is doing.
Okay.
So I'm not, like, getting involved, but I'm sitting, like, right behind Yong, just pretending to, like, be part of the crowd watching.
Because the guard is fighting an earthbender, I want to use earthbending, and that way the guard won't know it's me. He'll think it's the other kid. And then I'll use my earth sinking and, like, hit him down to, like, his kneecaps and, like, sink him into the dirt.
What is the description of that?
It says, sink a foe into the earth itself. Mark 2 fatigue to trap an enemy standing on the ground in the earth. They become trapped.
So in order to do this, I'm going to have you mark those 2 fatigue. Are you willing to give that?
You know what? Yeah, we're going to do it. And if I will be a little fatigued.
Hopefully our mission will not involve, like, that much fighting or later, so.
You sink this guy into the ground and he's caught unawares, and the kid jumps up and does like a spin kick and hits him in the head and knocks him out. And the other guards realize this, turn around, and they're like facing away from you now, and the kid just takes off running. I'm
imagining the kid a little bit like that scene in The Lion King where Simba, like, tries to roar, Mufasa's roar comes out, and everyone's like, what the f-?
With how, like, little of stuff he was doing with the earth moving, they did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid takes off running, and the crowd is just murmuring, and the guards are continuing to kind of be like, all right, nothing to see here.
I'm like, okay, gotta go now. Like,
hey out there, hope you're enjoying the extended play. It's been a long time coming. We'd love to hear your feedback on this, so I'm going to include a Google form in the show notes to get your thoughts on this little offbeat adventure. But for now, let's get back to the game. You head your way towards the center of town, and as you get closer, you see a lot of people in kind of finely woven dress, kind of moving in and out of building. You're hearing discussions of deals and contracts and shipments and exports and imports. As you get closer, they're kind of flowing out of this one building.
Are there any, like, shady places we can, like, sneak up to watch? Like, look through the window, see what's happening?
Yeah, there's, like, some alleyways and such you can try to look through.
Okay, I want to try to get as close as I can to watch, to see what's going on.
It's all fairly mundane.
Okay.
It's all, it's bureaucracy. It's, all right, so my shipment's coming in tomorrow, and it's going to be, 100 heads of cabbage, and it's going to be, and we're going to be exporting some wood.
Okay. I just wanted to see if there was anybody else that was, not so on the up and up, like our...
Well, it's a big building. You can't, like, you're right next to the one window, like, near the entrance where you're hearing one discussion, but there's a lot of people just flowing in and out of this building, and they all look well-dressed. You are getting the impression that this would be where the government officials are probably working out of.
yeah. Can I see if there's, like, a directory anywhere?
Not on the outside of the building, for sure.
I want to try and just walk into the building and see if anyone tries to stop me, or is it like just a building people can come and go from?
And it looks like, as far as you can tell, people are just coming and going. It doesn't appear to be any kind of, like, front desk or anything like that.
Okay, I'm just going to walk into the building and see what's inside.
Someone sees you kind of just, they look like they can tell you're confused, and they walk up and they go, "May I be of assistance?" And this person's also wearing one of these nicely woven robes. Looks to be a person of means, potentially.
I was trying to look at it to see if I'm good at lying, but I don't think that's a thing on this character sheet.
Under your basic moves in the play materials, there is a trick option. That would roll with creativity if you care about that.
Oh, hello. We were wondering, we don't get to this part of town that often. Is this where we might be granted an audience with any of the officials?
Potentially. Do you know which official you're looking for? What department, perhaps?
Minister Ming would be. I believe he's the head of sanitation. Very important.
Ah, yes, of course. Minister Ming. He is definitely in today. May I ask what this is regarding?
Just wanted to talk to him about the outskirts of town. They don't get out there enough. That's probably true. Would like to discuss it with him.
Yes, you're lying to this person, right? What is, to make sure I'm not having you roll unnecessarily, what is your intended outcome of this lie? Like, is it just to specifically get an audience, or is there a reason?
I would say get an audience would be the main, right? Would you agree, Dan?
Yeah.
I don't need this guy knowing we have, like, stuff on the other guy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have you roll a trick. So you're going to roll with creativity.
To be 6.
And he looks you up and down and he goes, "You know what? I believe I was actually incorrect. I don't believe Minister Ming is available today. Could I get your name? Perhaps I can, what area you're coming from. I'd be happy to, perhaps try to get something scheduled for you. I can get you set up with his assistant to perhaps coordinate something."
Is there any way for us to find out where he lives and we can just find him separately?
I don't think this guy's gonna go show him anymore.
I want to say to the man, "Oh, thank you so much. We'll just try again tomorrow." I want to bid him farewell.
I don't want to have to.
And he goes to wave and he says, "Well, then I shall see you tomorrow."
Great. See you then. As he walks away or whatever, I want to, because we're already in the building, I want to ask Mika to give me some kind of, just something out of her bag. I want to go up to another person and I'm going to be breathing really heavily, "Hey, can you help me? I have a delivery. It's for Ming, and they said he's not here right now, and I'm going to be in so much trouble if I don't deliver this to him. Do you know where he might be right now?"
All right, so we'll say there was a bit of time, right? Like you gave a little bit of time before you just immediately approach another person.
Yeah.
What did Yong grab out of your bag, Mika?
I'm going to say maybe I had a small package of fruit or something like that.
Now you are going to roll a trick, Yong.
8.
Hey.
So you get to pick one of the following.
Yeah.
They stumble, take +1 forward to acting against them. They act foolishly. The GM tells you what additional opportunity they give you. Or 3, they overcommit. They are deceived for some time.
Okay, yeah, I want them to overcommit. I want to find out where this bitch is.
Well, I believe he should be back. They look outside and they go, "Well, yes, he should be back shortly, actually. If you'd like, you're more than welcome to wait in his office." I know he prefers to just get right to things when he gets back.
Oh my god, that would be so great. Thank you so much. That'd be perfect.
And this person kind of takes you upstairs and ushers you into an office and closes the door. With the 3 of you, I'll say, yeah.
Yeah, okay, the 3 of us.
All right, so you are now in Minister Ming's office. Looking around, it's very sparse. There's an incoming and outgoing stack of papers. Incoming, empty. Outgoing, full.
Oh, so he's doing his job and he's actually sending stuff out.
All of his books and everything on his shelf are neatly organized. Looks like he is all put together. He's got all of his ducks in a row.
I want to rifle through his outgoing. What's he doing?
You're rifling through, and for the most part, it all seems pretty simple. It's all about, payments to trash collection, making sure they're clearing out space quick enough, that they're opening up new landfills. Looks like there's a contract about building, an incinerator.
I mean, incinerator, my brain was incinerator, Fire Nation. Incinerator, bad.
A lot of these are referencing information you don't know. For instance, it references a section 4L, in terms of where this is going to be built. And a couple of the other documentations refer to things like that. You do notice, as I say, there definitely seems to be, there's like a staff write-up, and it definitely seems like there's a lot more staff on the inner area than there is on the outer area.
So my story should have been believable.
Yuka, meanwhile, is like leaning out the window and looking around.
I grab him and I'm like, don't do that.
Aw, man.
We don't need people to suit.
When you look away, he actually leans out the window and throws the boomerang.
At what?
Just like into the air, and then it goes back around and he catches it and it comes back inside.
This child will be the death of me.
Yuka threw this, and Yong is rifling through the papers. What are you doing then, Mika?
I'm gonna see if I find anything in the bookshelves. Secret door, secret tunnel.
No secret door. It's like a manual, like a handbook of sanitation department, and, logs for different years.
I want to see if there's anything about Fubai that prove he probably doesn't like him.
What you do see is, one, there is a booklet that's like, for lack of a better term, there's an organizational chart of like the current, the current government in the area. The other thing you see is a book just labeled campaign.
I want to look a little bit through the campaign book.
Campaign book is kind of just like a list of all of his accomplishments, and it's also like kind of got some information about all of the other ministers.
Yeah, I want to see what it says about Fubai.
In terms of Fubai, it is the shortest section. It looks like he hasn't been able to gather a lot of information on Fubai.
Well, I'm about to make your day.
The main thing is like promises Fubai has made and current progress towards those, and a lot of them seem to be like falling a little short.
This is probably the stuff he's collecting money for. We discovered that he's not using the money at the right.
I think you could definitely infer that.
Cool. I put the campaign book back where it should go.
Right as you're finishing rifling through the paperwork, Yong, you hear the door start to open.
I want to spin around on his chair and face the door.
You're in his chair?
Okay, no, that's a bad idea.
No. You already made your choice.
I pull him out of the chair.
All right, so as he's coming in, you're pulling Yong out of the chair.
And the chair's like spinning.
There's like a bit of a freeze frame moment where Minister Ming and you are lock eyes. And he is dressed in a more modest clothing, like compared to the person who greeted you downstairs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like a little hat on, with like a little tassel on the top. Oh, hello.
Ming, my guy, the guy who runs things, and he does it well. And I'm trying to
Nice to meet you, Minister Ming. And I put my hand out for like a handshake.
Okay, and he tentatively goes to shake your hand. Yes, and you are?
I'm about to make your day.
And he shakes your hand as well, but your name?
Ah, yes, my name is Yong.
Did you have an appointment? Someone downstairs mentioned I had a delivery.
Yes, yeah, I am. We are here to deliver something that I feel will be of great importance to you, and importance to our town.
And he has his hands kind of crossed in front of him. He's kind of tapping his thumbs together as you speak.
I'm curious what you think of Minister Fubai.
Oh, well, my colleague, Minister Fubai, is a stalwart worker towards housing, despite some areas of improvement.
I'm curious what you actually think about it. Can I roll Suspicious Mind for this?
What does that entail?
When you watch a person carefully to figure them out, roll with focus, and then you can, tell things.
Let's roll it.
This is what I've been wanting to do to this guy the whole time. Okay. I rolled a 6 for the first one, so... And then a 3, but it's focus, so I have 2 in there. So it's 9 on roll, and then 2 more, so 11.
Damn.
So on +2, hold 2, spend your hold 1 for 1 to ask their player questions while you observe or interact with them. They must answer honestly.
All right, so yeah, you can choose up to 2 of the questions on that list to ask him.
What are you truly feeling is the one. I'll word that a little bit more, and I go, what do you really think about him?
And you're not with his people?
Very much no.
Well, to be honest, I find Minister Fubai to be a less than trustworthy individual and not as good at his job as I think other people could be.
The other ones are, what do you really want right now? Are you telling the truth? What are you worried about? And what are you about to do?
The first one.
What is it that you want?
I'll let you phrase it in a different way as long as the intention is that.
And who do you want to have that position?
And he nods and he goes, well, and he walks over, and as he goes past his bookshelf, he adjusts his campaign book. I believe that I perhaps would be better suited to fulfilling that role, given everything I've been able to do in our sanitation department.
Not a bad plan.
And is there a particular reason you have shown up and asked me such personal questions? person whose name I still haven't gotten?
I think we could help you with that.
Give him your name.
Fine, my name is Mika.
He looks at the other two of you, and Yuka looks at you, Mika, and since you gave your name, and goes, and I'm Yuka. And Yuka has his chest puffed out.
I am Yong, and as I said, we are here to make your day, sir. Ploop! And I plop the ledger right in front of him. This is what we will use to get you into that position.
Or what you will use. We don't actually have any political power. I don't know who to give this to.
And he's kind of tapping on the ledger, and he goes, all right, so Yong, Mika, and Yuka. Before I open this, what should I expect to find within?
That Fubai is exactly the kind of guy you think he is, and maybe even a little bit worse. Probably a lot of bit worse.
Where the money's actually going.
And he kind of inquisitively picks it up and he flips through it. You see his eyes kind of getting bigger. Oh.
This is why things are getting so bad on the outskirts of town. And it's just making its way inward. We saw a fight on the way in here between an innocent boy and the Fire Nation guards.
I see. Well, this is gravely concerning and most disappointing. I just met with Minister Fubai this morning.
Is that why his Fire Nation lackeys came by to demand all of us leave our homes so the Fire Nation could have them by morning time?
Well, he was supposed to take funds to help relocate the people in those areas.
Nope. Not even a little penny.
Oh, very much not happening. We live there. They just told us to leave.
I see.
We're new, but a lot of the people have lived there for a long time.
And he goes up to his bookshelf, and he's got a little scroll kind of pulled out, and he pulls it down like a little, like a projector screen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a map of Yudao. You see the grid system set up on the city, and as far as you can tell now, you recognize that this is actually probably a grid of his design, of Minister Ming's design. And he marks off a part that's colored in red, and that is the space where you live. And he goes, this is very disappointing. That is where our new incinerator is supposed to be going.
Ha-ha, dots are connecting.
I see why that is important. However, I need a place to live.
No, certainly. The lives of our citizens are far more important than infrastructure. We can build the infrastructure elsewhere if needed.
Am I able to roll suspicious mind again?
Sure.
I want to make sure he's telling the truth.
I mean, so far, I'm pretty sure he is at this point.
Rachel's pretty sure he is. I don't feel like this character would. The only official she knows is this one that's been lying to her.
Valid.
5 plus 2 would be 9.
All right, so yeah, you can ask him one of these questions.
I'm asking are you telling the truth? And they go, is that how you really feel?
Well, of course. I mean, I'm very disappointed that, we're going to have to reconsider our plans for the incinerator because that is going to make all the difference. We have a lot of recent incoming into the area.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure I'm keeping the wheels moving, but I can work with the rest of the council to find a new location. Fubai had just told me that was going to be the ideal location, that he would get it secured.
It's very heartening to hear a minister actually care. The minister I have the most dealings with is Fubai, and as you clearly can see now, I do not have reason to trust him.
And he goes, no, understandable. I will look into this immediately to see about getting this resolved. We don't want anyone to lose their homes.
When are they supposed to be building the incinerator?
My understanding is that the plan was to get the construction started by the end of the week.
Okay, that does make sense, because they're saying we only have till dawn to leave? I feel like we should have been told this earlier.
Or maybe not even at all. Maybe they should just let us stay where we live.
I mean, this too, but thank you. We really appreciate that. Would you like some fruit?
And you hear a knock at the door.
I go behind his desk and hide behind it. I go, I don't know who's there.
Come in, and you see the original gentleman that you spoke with when you first came in the building.
I'm hidden.
Sounds like Yuka and Yong didn't know that, so they're kind of just standing there. And the gentleman comes in and he goes, Minister Ming, I was going to pass a message along to you. But it seems perhaps you've already met the guests who were looking for you. I didn't realize they were still in the building.
Yeah, a real nice guy downstairs told us we could come up and wait.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make that connection. Well, I'll leave you to it, Minister. I hope you have a good day. And you notice that his eyes lock on the ledger sitting open on the table.
I knew it.
And he closes the door and heads out.
And I give a nanny boo boo.
I pop back up and I go, Did that seem a little suspicious?
Well, you did hide behind the desk.
No, him.
Yeah, he is the one that wouldn't let us up here earlier, and I had to get another way up here. I feel like you might have a mole in your midst. Yeah, he seemed a little too interested in the ledger that I gave you. And it's not exactly, known that we, acquired it.
Yeah.
Ah, well that was Ayami. He is the head receptionist, kind of coordinator of the building, kind of keeps all the gears flowing for all of the various meetings and goings on here.
Could he be loyal to Fubai?
Oh, I was going to say that I feel like you should take a look at the money trail there and see if he's getting a little bit of extra kickback recently from Fubai.
Mika, you look and you see Yuka hanging out the window, kind of looking around.
I grab him again and pull him back inside.
And he goes, "But look!"
What?
And when you look out the window, you see Ayami kind of walking briskly across the street to another building that looks to have some more officials in it. But this one also has Fire Nation guards outside of it.
Who hangs out in that building? And is it maybe Fubai?
Yes, that is the Department of Housing. They've gotten big enough, they've required their own separate building.
So I should definitely be worried that he's going right over there.
Yes, most definitely. I am going to take us out the back way, and I think we should potentially part ways while I take this and figure out what to do with it.
Promise me you'll take care of our neighbors and us.
I'm going to do everything in my power.
Thank you. Let's go. And I grab my brother and I'm like, let's go. Or cousin. He's basically my brother.
Ah!
Yeah.
That thing where like you see the arm come out and grab him and he's like stationary for a second and then just...
Oh yeah.
Well, he guides you down the back alley and kind of lets you out, lets you know how you can get back to your section of town, and he goes the other direction.
And then right before he takes off and we go the other direction, I want to shout, "How will we heal from you?"
I will come to you, since I now know it's a very small location. I assume your neighbors know you.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe we should head back home. I can definitely see those guards starting to give our neighbors a hard time, especially if Fubai knows something's up.
And you're getting back to the other side of town, because, travel takes a little while. Sun's just starting to go down as you're getting back to your neighborhood, and you see some of your neighbors have started packing up, like they're kind of seeing what all they can carry on their person, like making up some like giant rucksacks full of things.
And as we arrive, I want to yell, "Everybody put your stuff back! We're not going anywhere!"
You're trying to get the crowd going?
Yeah.
Be like, "We just talked with Minister Ming. We blew the lid on this whole operation. Fubai is going down and we're staying in our homes."
Okay, chill out.
And Pushi goes, "What does the sanitation guy have to do with this?"
He has more power than us.
This entire time he's been taking all of our funds and giving it to the Fire Nation.
No. That is what Fubai is doing. Ming is trying to try and stop him.
Fubai has been robbing us blind since day one, and we went to Ming to set the record straight, and Ming is going to overthrow Fubai!
Hopefully!
Pushi she's sitting on a chair outside of her little apartment. I've been imagining she's first floor, you're second floor kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of just rocks back and forth a little bit and goes, "Well, this has been my home for almost 50 years. I don't think I'm going anywhere."
Hell yeah, Pushi!
Yeah!
One of the younger guys who has like the rucksack full of stuff goes, "Y'all are crazy. I'm getting the hell out of here. Well, those Fire Nation soldiers come back and burn the lot of us."
And then I want to step right in front of him and put my hand out. "Really? You're going to let them push you around? We're already on the outskirts of town. Do you want to live out in the forest? We have to stand for what's right."
Do you actually have a plan of where to go? Where are you going?
You're gonna go stay with some friends a block over.
I have the basic move for plead. It says when you plead with an NPC who cares what you think for help, support, or action, roll with harmony.
We've never especially established that this random guy who's in the neighborhood cares what you think, but I'll let you do it. I like this.
4, 2, that's a 6, and then with harmony, 8. It says on a 7 to 9, they need something more, evidence that this is the right course, guidance in making the right choices, or resources to aid them before they act. The GM tells you what they need.
This is scary stuff, man. Like, those Fire Nation guards are gonna come back. It's no joke. I'm not a bender. I can't move anything. I don't have any weapons training. I'm not a soldier.
You're a citizen of the Earth Kingdom. You're a grown man. You're strong. You're a resident of this town. You've lived here your whole life. you have every bit of skin in the game that we do, and we have the evidence that Fubai has been stealing from us and making us destitute and on the edges of town. And do you want to be wearing rags for the rest of your life, or do you want to stand up for what's right?
Dan, I've been kind of imagining your character's the only one who wears, like, ratty clothes, really.
First of all...
Fine, but if I see you, if I see you guys turn and run, I'll turn your asses in.
I want to do stomp, stomp, and, like, have two little, like, rocks pop up and go bam, bam, and they're not going to know what hit them.
And the neighbors go, yeah!
I'm careful, not a coward.
And Yuka taps on your shoulder. Mika?
Yeah.
The brave are usually the first to die.
Fuck me.
The hell did this come from?
And he points, and when you turn around, there's like 10 Fire Nation soldiers.
So then I want to use my earthbending to get some dirt and have it form a bullhorn, and I want to yell, hell no, we won't go!
And everyone else, hell no, we won't go!
That's what I'm talking about!
And the general who spoke this morning comes up.
Also, it's not done yet, asshole!
The timetable has been moved up.
Ow.
You had an opportunity, and this is your last chance before we remove you by force.
The only thing getting out of here is your head honcho Fubai. We know that he's been funneling you guys the money, and we went and set the record straight, and we're not going anywhere you are, and you can take your little incinerator elsewhere.
And I actually put my hand over his mouth, and I'm like, don't tell him all of our plan.
I mean, we already did it. They can't stop it.
The general looks around. Well, that's really interesting, as I don't see anyone here who can stop us. He raises an arm in like a fist and kind of gives like a chopping motion towards the lot of you, and the soldiers kind of pull into formation, like into a stance.
Is he putting it directly towards one of my allies?
Yeah, to everybody.
Some water out.
What about you, Yong?
Yeah, I'm going to push my luck. That's my whole character. It says, when you push your luck in a risky situation, say what you want to do and roll with passion. On a hit, you do it, but it costs you to scrape by. The GM tells you what it costs you. On a 10 plus, your boldness pays off despite the cost. The GM tells you what other lucky opportunity falls in your lap.
Well, I guess wait, first you have to tell me what you want to do.
So I want to do the same thing he did, where I put my fist up, and when, like, as I'm going up with my fist, I'm having like a probably like head size rock come up with my fist. And then I do the chop motion too, and as I do that motion, the rock flies straight at the butthole that was saying all that crap.
All right, yeah, roll it.
Please, please, please. 3. 6! It's a 6! Even if it wasn't in my tower, it's on my desk, and I'm gonna count it. +1! It's a 10.
Yeah!
So on a 10...
It says, on a 10, your boldness pays off despite the cost. The GM tells you what other lucky opportunity falls in your lap.
You hit him in the face, he kind of stumbles backwards. He's not, like, out, but he looks very dazed. And that immediately gets all of the Fire Nation guys to start firing on you. But because you kind of got the upper hand, you kind of do a tumble roll and then jut some earth up. So you kind of, like, jump high into the air and kind of do, like, a spin and land.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely have, like, thrown them off their rhythm.
Hell yeah.
That being said, it sounds like we are entering combat.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the beginning, I need to choose what all of the NPCs are doing.
Is that old lady fighting?
I have them marked down as a group, just listed as neighbors.
I want Pushi to be some, like, bad bitch earthbender.
Yeah.
Okay, so I picked what they are all doing as we enter this combat exchange. It sounds like everyone's involved in this exchange, right?
I'm getting water ready. I think we're past cautious.
All right, so I have picked what they are doing. You guys can discuss what you as the PCs are going to do. You don't get to choose what Yuka does, though.
Because I was looking at divert. Does it look like anyone is particularly going to target Yong or Yuka?
Gotcha. So there's definitely, it looks like all of the Fire Nation soldiers are kind of focusing their fire on Yong. So remember, the way that this works is first you need to choose what type of move you're doing. Either advance and attack, defend and maneuver, or evade and observe. You're going to roll to see what type of moves you have access to for your turn.
Okay, I'm going to try to do defend and maneuver then.
So you got defend and maneuver, okay.
I am going to evade and observe.
Okay, so the only person doing a defend and maneuver is Rachel. So roll, for defend and maneuver, you're rolling with focus.
Okay, cool. Because I've got a lot in that. Well, that roll was bad. That roll was good. Okay, so I rolled a 6 and a 1, and then my focus is 2, so 9.
All right, so on a 9, you can choose one basic or mastered technique that you have.
Yeah, so then I could do the one it comes with them, the divert, defend, and maneuver.
Okay, yeah. So what does that involve?
Step into the ways of blows intended for allies. When an ally is within reach suffers a blow, this exchange, you can suffer it for them. The
Fire Nation soldiers are all going to be focusing their fire on Yong. The whole neighborhood is basically just going to kind of descend on these guys, like, pots and pans, and Pushy has her cane. That kid from earlier who was earthbending shows up.
I'm going to try to do defend and maneuver with Yong.
All right, so yeah, you're basically waiting. You're kind of holding your action to see if anything happens to Yong.
Yes.
All right, so now the advance and attack people go. So this is not you. This is the NPCs. So for the NPCs...
What my cousin doing?
Your cousin is going to try and strike at them with the boomerang. Yeah, we'll mark 2 fatigue on the military squad. And then focused fire. Let's see here. Okay, 3 fatigue on them. And then... Okay, so how many fatigue were you up to, Yong, earlier?
3.
This is why I try interpose.
We'll say you cleared 1.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
As part of this, you are going to mark 2 fatigue, and it says, and a condition. So I think condition-wise, you're getting a hit with a lot of stuff, so my thought would be afraid. Your options are afraid, angry, guilty, insecure, and troubled.
I mean, honestly, insecure? Because I was really gung-ho, ready to fight?
Oh, wait, no. Sorry, Mika's going to take on these conditions. Because Mika's basically going to jump and push you out of the way. So Mika, you're going to mark 2 fatigue and insecure.
Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, the rest of the neighborhood, like I said, kind of just starts going after these guys, and I don't think they were expecting this much resistance, so they're also going to take on some more fatigue and feel some insecurity about this whole situation now. They're kind of backing up, and they're looking a little more at each other, whoa, guys, what are we doing here? All right, and then, Dan, you said you're going to do evade and observe?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to roll, and you're going to add your choice between creativity or harmony.
Well, my harmony's a +2.
All right. Roll and add your harmony, then.
7, 9.
9 with harmony means that you can choose one basic from the basic list, one of your mastered techniques.
Oh, and then I get to take 1 more fatigue away because I used the evade.
Which evade and observe did you use? What's its benefit?
I wanted to do the bolster or hinder, which is aid or impede a nearby character, inflicting an appropriate status. I wanted to basically try to blind the soldiers, pulling up a bunch of dirt and dust and throwing it at their eyes.
Inflicting an appropriate status, so...
Impaired.
Yeah, I'd say impaired. All right, cool. Let me mark them as... And who are you doing that towards? Are you doing that towards the soldiers or the general?
The soldiers. I'd rather... I'm fine with having just one guy, but I'm trying to get the bulk of them that I can.
Okay. Just mark that down, and specifically marks 1 fatigue or take -2 to all physical actions, or choose 1 fewer techniques. Or for NPCs, choose 1 fewer technique. Okay, cool. The general is going to did an evade and observe as well. Because of this, able to mark a condition on each of his attackers. So in this case, that would be the 2 of y'all. I am going to say that you're going to both be marking angry.
Ooh.
He is clearly trying to goad you into being off your game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've gone through an exchange. At this point in the combat, we are not required to go immediately into another exchange. You do have the option to kind of attempt to change the situation if you want.
Now, I would say intimidate and say we're not leaving quietly.
We're not leaving at all.
All right, so it sounds like one of you is going to intimidate. The other one sounds like they're going to help.
Yeah.
All right, so who's doing the intimidation?
Me.
All right, so you're going to roll the intimidation. Now, in order for you to help, Mika, you're going to have to take a fatigue, and that's going to give +1 to Dan's roll.
Okay.
So 3, 4, 7 with my +1, and your +1 would make it 9.
All right, so you get to choose one of the listings, which are they run to escape or get back up, they back down but keep watch, they give in with a few stipulations, or they attack you but off balance.
I want to try to have him run away.
Although if they're running away, then they're going to get back up. That might not be. They're not just leaving, right?
It says to escape or get back up. So you don't know what they're going to do necessarily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like he is like the bigger one to deal with, so like having him out of the picture was just more beneficial.
He does not look defeated or afraid so much as he is just leaving, backing up into the shadows kind of thing. So the soldiers kind of look and they look back, and one of the ones in the front goes, "We have our orders." And I think we're going to start another combat exchange. Unless one of y'all are trying to opt out of that combat.
Nah,
No, I'm ready to throw down.
let's fight.
So let me think about what the soldiers are doing. Okay, I know what the soldiers are doing. What are y'all doing then?
I am, advancing and attacking.
And what about you?
Advancing and attacking.
And what of fatigue are y'all at each now?
1.
3.
You're going to roll with passion.
Okay, 5. 5.
3. 4. Oh, 5.
10 overall.
Yikes, mine was not that great. 5.
They kind of catch you by surprise, when they go in for the another attack. For Yong, they are striking at you, so you can either mark 2 fatigue, mark a condition, or shift your balance away from center. It's your choice.
Oh, I'm only at center right now, so I can just move it? How much do I move it? 1?
Oh, if I mark a fatigue on my characters, then they get to choose, actually. Sorry, I'm going to take the choice away from you. I'm going to mark a fatigue on mine and have you inflict a condition. Which ones do you have right now?
Angry.
We'll go with troubled, then. You're like, why are they focusing on me? What are you doing then, Mika?
Then I assume I can do any of my moves then, right?
You can choose from this list instead. Mark 1 fatigue to use a learned technique, use 1 practice technique, or use 2 different basic or mastered techniques.
So since I can do 2, I'm gonna do my stream of water one.
Okay. What does that involve?
Push a high-powered stream of water from a significant source. Mark fatigue.
All right, we'll say there's like a fountain nearby then.
Mark fatigue to inflict a condition on a foe within. They are pinned against something. Then, so I guess I'm doing this to all the soldiers then.
So right now they're marked as insecured. Which of the other conditions would you like to inflict on them?
I'm trying to think which one makes sense.
Afraid, possibly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with afraid.
It's water against fire guys right now.
Yeah. I guess I'll try to intimidate.
Choose an approach. Your foe cannot choose to use that approach for the next exchange. The approach is being defend and maneuver, advance and attack, or evade and observe.
They can't attack us next turn then.
All right, well, that's actually the end of that exchange. So right now, you're holding them back.
I also want to mark 1 fatigue at the end of each exchange to continue the stream.
Are you going to do that?
I needed to add 1 for when I first did it, right?
Right.
I'm not going to because that would bring me to 5.
Okay, yeah, makes perfect sense. Okay, so you let go of the stream, you let it down. So now we're in between combat exchanges. What are you guys doing now between exchanges, or are you just going to continue trying to fight them?
I'm leaning towards trying to fight him.
How long until, we don't know how long, but like what could we do to get Ming here?
He does know that the at least originally it was a morning event.
I would say we should keep attacking.
Yeah, keep attacking.
Well, they can't do this, so they're gonna...
Well, they can't cause me more fatigue. That's my main...
Okay, I know what they're gonna try to do, and so which options are you guys going with?
I think I'm gonna go with evade and observe because I would like to clear fatigue.
Okay.
I still want to try to advance and attack.
All right, they look like they're kind of steeling themselves and ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd has kind of backed off now that you're kind of like taking care of them, and they're kind of cheering you on, like, yeah!
Is my cousin doing shit?
He's been part of the crowd.
I want to stray boomerang every now and again.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's your turn then, Dan, because you're the only one doing an advance and attack this round.
That's going to be 4. Ooh, and 5. And a +1 is going to make it a 10.
All right, you can either mark 1 fatigue to use a learned technique, use 1 practice technique, or use 2 different basic or mastered techniques.
Because they're considered one group of people, I want to use my learned techniques, and I'm going to do earth sinking and sink all of the soldiers down into the ground. It would give me 2 fatigue.
And it marks impaired for them, I think. Actually, they're already impaired, so it should...
They become trapped.
All right, trapped. And what does it do to you?
Headstrong to take you on. Gives me 2 fatigue.
What are you up to now total, then?
4.
Everybody's getting close. All right, so yeah, they are trapped. Evade and observe. So you're going to want to roll that, either creativity or harmony.
I rolled a 1. I rolled a 4, so 6 overall.
So that does not do it, but you do still get to clear 1 fatigue.
Cool.
So we're going to resolve this exchange. You trapped them, but they had retaliate as their defend and maneuver, which marks 1 additional fatigue on you, Yong.
Oh. No, it's okay.
So they are synced, trapped into the ground, and knocked out from the amount of fatigue they have taken. But you are also going to be knocked out. You use all of your earthbending energy, and you're just like Saiyan level struggling with all the energy, and then you just keel over when it's over.
Just complete jello, just blow.
Those soldiers fall over. Moments later, what you see is the general returns with another group of soldiers, and also Minister Fubai with him.
Oh, God.
And then on the other side, you see Minister Ming and a bunch of Earth Nation members arrive.
I go, oh, God. Oh, good.
And Minister Ming looks around and goes, I hold here proof that Minister Fubai has been funneling money to the Fire Nation that is rightfully meant for his constituents. And Fubai cocks an eyebrow and looks at the lot of you as you're just coming back to Yong.
Mm-hmm.
Yuka has kind of cradled you, is kind of like bonking you on the head with the boomerang.
I don't think that helped.
He's awake. And Ming says, I'm going to have him taken in by the city guards for corruption. And Minister Fubai goes, this is outrageous.
Is it?
From the ground, I just go, yeah.
He goes, who are you going to believe, me or a bunch of children and a book?
How did you know it was children?
And one of the other people in the crowd goes, yeah, how'd you know it was children? And Mr. Fubai goes, well, I. Ming goes, guards, take him away.
Woo!
I'm actually very proud of myself for catching that. I was like, we didn't fucking say it was us.
And the guards approach him, and the Fire Nation soldiers look like they're about to attack. And then they look at the general who tells them to stand down.
Oh, thank God.
And they take him into custody, and Fubai looks at you and goes, you haven't heard the last from me.
I think we have.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be very talkative during your trial.
And as he's being carted away, Ming approaches you and shakes your hands and goes, thank you very much for this enlightening day.
Thank you for believing us and being a minister who actually cares about the people.
And a lot of you kind of lock eyes with the Fire Nation general as he kind of makes a motion, and all of the soldiers, like on a dime, turn and start walking away. I worry about what's going to be coming to our little town.
I think we need to be worried about what's already here.
That is fair. All right, well, I'm going to bid myself adieu and wish you good evening. And thank you once again. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Good night. I'm ready for this day to be over.
Yong, you're able to kind of like get yourself back in your feet.
Mm-hmm.
The whole neighborhood is kind of like coming out. Someone's playing like some drums, and there's like people like bringing food.
Looks like I'm not getting to fucking sleep then.
No.
Basically, there's about to be a block party by the looks of it.
Hell yeah.
I guess I'll join the block party. But of course they had energy. None of them helped.
I would say of the 3 exchanges, they helped with 2 of them.
We still gotta celebrate.
And I go, do you have coffee? That's the only way I'm staying up for this. Or tea, probably. It's Avatar.
And there's a bunch of torches lit, and people are like, just partying. It goes until it gets real late. And we slowly fade out from the city of Yudao. This extended play uses the game Avatar Legends by Magpie Games. If you enjoyed this, you can help support Masks and Mayhem by making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly member through our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/mayhemcast. The episode was written, produced, and knocked off balance by myself, RC Byler. Our logo art is by Jenn Evans, and our font is by AJ Eisen. Music in this episode was brought to you by Kevin MacLeod and Incomtech. Additional social media links, blog posts, and episodes can be found on our website at masksandmayhem.com. what do we think?
That was fun.
I actually really enjoy how this plays because of how simple it is.
Yeah.
Because like, it allows me to really just like ham it up.
I feel like you would like Monster of the Week, especially.
Yeah, it's very much more focused. Like, from what I understand, a lot of people don't like this particular game because the combat is more complicated than normal Monster of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seemed fairly easy.
Well, not that it's, as I say, or people just don't feel like it flows quite the same way.
Oh, yeah, the flow was a little odd, but I mean, I can get used to that.
I feel like you play this game a couple times, you'll get used to it.
Yeah, I like this, though. This is my second time running a game with it.
And so I feel like we did a good job keeping the tone of like...
Oh, yeah, I specifically tried to keep it cartoon.
I felt that. That's why I did the hopefully.
Yeah,
that felt perfect. All right, well, to anyone who's listening, if you ever kind of thinking like, man, I would really like to see them return to these characters, give us some feedback, send me an email, gm@maskedmayhem.com, or send us something on social media, leave a review, something to let us know if you like these characters. This could be maybe a stream we do, or a Ko-fi special.
You could also spell it out with rocks on a beach and use palm trees.
Well, if you're trapped on an island, but you had this podcast, I hope you get rescued so you can continue listening to our show.
Send me a messenger pigeon.
The rescue only unlocks when you reach tier 3 of our Ko-fi, so make sure you subscribe.